This is Dr. Joe Pat Hatem, Mayor of the City of Southport. Martin Luther King believed in nonviolence as a way to change the oppression of black people that had continued since the end of the Civil War. The harsh realities of racism, of social injustice, of war in our country in the 1960s was met by Reverend King's dream of love, compassion, freedom, hope, and peace for all mankind. This dream was the life's work of Martin Luther King. We celebrate the life of Dr. King today and embrace his example of nonviolence as he marched in peaceful protest, whether to right the wrong of racism, to oppose a war, to improve the conditions of the working class, to erase inequality, or to erase the plight of those living in poverty. He marched, he preached, he prayed, he protested, but he never promoted violence as a means for change. His words so eloquent, his passion so inspiring, he became an advisor to Presidents Kennedy and Johnson and helped to guide them on matters of race, culminating with the signing into law the Civil Rights Act of 1964. His speech on August 28, 1963, at the Lincoln Memorial transcended into the ages of oratory excellence and captured the hearts, minds, and souls of a generation. I read to you parts of that speech from the event that day, which was officially known as the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom. 50 years ago, a great American in whose symbolic shadow we stand today signed the Emancipation Proclamation. This was Dr. King's tribute to President Lincoln and the Gettysburg Address. We must forever conduct our struggle on the high plane of dignity and discipline. We must not allow our creative protest to degenerate into physical violence. I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. Martin Luther King's children were ages 8, 6, 2, and 5 months old at the time of the speech. Their father was 34 years old. He would be assassinated 5 years later, the victim of violence, leaving his 4 small children fatherless and his grieving widow behind. We must never forget that it is more than Martin Luther King Day and the civil rights movement he represented. It is their day too. When we let freedom ring, when we let it ring from every village and every hamlet, from every state and every city, we will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual, free at last, thank God Almighty, we are free at last. Free from prejudice, free from poverty, free from war, free from inequalities in education, in health, in employment, free to become the person you dream to be in a world of justice, peace, and love.